This is the most complete breakdown of YouTube automation and I'm giving it to you for free. My name is Razvan Paraschiv and I've been doing faceless YouTube automation for more than 5 years now. Communities of subscribers made millions of dollars in AdSense revenue, and everything I know about how this works, the niche, the team, the video ideas, the monetization is in this video. Absolutely nothing held back, so let's get into it. Chapter 1, the niche. Look, the niche is the most important decision that you will ever make in this business model and it dictates everything. As Uncle Warren says, it's not important how hard you row, but what boat you're in. And it's the same thing with faceless YouTube automation niches, guys. You can do everything right. You can have the best content, you can use all the AI tools, you can have the best team, make the best videos. If your niche is meant to not be profitable or it's insanely competitive, you have no chance. You are not gonna make money. But on the contrary, I've had dozens and hundreds of my clients who didn't have any experience, didn't have big budgets, but they were able to get in some of the most profitable and most lucrative niches out there and had a very easy time making $3, $5, and $10,000 per month and beyond. The main reason here is that the niche kind of sets the stage. It dictates the RPM, which means how much money you will get paid per 1,000 views. It dictates the competition level, meaning how many other channels are going to be trying to make similar content and are going to be fighting for the same videos. And it also means for how long are you going to be able to make money with your channel, because I found there are two types of channels really. Number one, there are trending channels, and number two, there are evergreen channels. I'm going to jump on my laptop here and show you a couple examples, but just so you guys paint a picture, when we are talking about trending niches and trending content, we talk about stuff like celebrities, news, maybe even sports, depending on which variable you go. And then when it comes to evergreen content, we talk about stuff that is going to be as relevant today as next year and in 5 years from now. And here we talk about things like history, documentaries of any sort, content that doesn't have a quote expiration date. And by the way, all of the channels that I'm going to show you are making money, but there are differences between them. So let's take a look at the channel right here called Culture Covered. They have 950 videos. They've been posting for 3 years and they've been making very good money. Even right now, if we use this extension, we're going to see their estimated monthly earnings are around $5,000, which is not too shabby at all. But as you can see, they upload about 6 times per week and they are kind of staying on top of the trends and they're always looking for the newest scandal, the newest thing that is happening in Hollywood because they're covering celebrity news. And then on the other side, we have this channel right here called Exhaust TV that only has 22 videos. They've only started posting 3 months ago, not 3 years ago, and they make evergreen content. Some of their most popular videos: how does a 500-ton airplane stay airborne, the real reason airplanes keep fuel in the wings, basically documentaries, short of them, right? Short documentaries around curiosities. And guess what? This channel also makes more than $5,000 per month and they don't have to stay up with the trends and see what's happening and see everything that is going on in Hollywood. So this is kind of the main difference. And look, you can definitely make money with both trending and evergreen niches. I personally prefer evergreen, but I also have a lot of clients who make money in trending niches, and one of them is Michael. Michael was working 80-hour weeks as a chef, running 2 kitchens at the same time. I mean, that's insane. He was working insane hours and he just wanted to make more money on the side so he can cut on his hours and spend more time with his son. He came to us, started a channel, and Michael was actually passionate about pop culture, so it was easy for him to start such a channel. Now, this wasn't Michael's channel, just for his privacy, but he has a very similar channel and he's making a bunch of money. In just a couple of months, he was able to scale his channel to $4,000 per month, and he kept going and going, and by the end of the year, his channel was doing over $19,000 per month with one single channel in a trending niche.
Hey guys, real quick, if you're someone who's serious about making money on YouTube, we have YouTube automation and faceless YouTube channels. So if you work a high-paying job and want to make more money on the side, or if you're a business owner and you're looking to diversify your streams of income, then go ahead and book a call for one-on-one coaching by clicking the link in the description. I've helped over 5,000 people just like you make more money on YouTube, and I'd love to see if I can help you do the same thing. So go ahead, click the link in the description, book a call, and I'd love to see you on the other side. If not, no issues, enjoy the free content.
So it's definitely possible, and I have clients on the other side as well in the evergreen niches. For example, Lisa and Nell started a history channel a couple of years ago and they hit $10,000 in about 6 months. But guess what? That same channel has been making them more than $100,000 per year after year for more than 3 years now. And this is after they failed a bunch of other business models and they found success with this one. So as you can see, whichever you choose, you can make money. You just got to think about our preferences and what you like, but I'm going to cover that in just a second. Now, let me walk you through how I would go about choosing a niche, whether I'm going to go for evergreen or a trending one, right? So let's jump back on the computer and you can see what I'm going to do, guys. Let's just say I'm going to start with evergreen and I want to start a channel similar to this one, Exhaust TV, but maybe I don't want to do the same documentaries that they're doing. So I'm going to use this Chrome extension right here called Next Level, and I'm going gonna go to similar channels. I'm gonna do a quick search. Just for the sake of this video, I recommend you actually guys do an in-depth search when you're watching this and doing this at home. But what this is gonna do, it's gonna give us very similar channels in the same niche or that are making similar content to some extent, right? You can see a couple of those are gonna be in different niches. Not all of them are gonna be talking about planes. But what I wanna do, I just wanna open a couple of them in a new tab, and this is gonna allow me to find a bunch of similar channels that I can take inspiration from and maybe start a channel myself, right? So let's see what we found here. We have this one right here, Today Machine, which kind of talks about machines, and they're uploading quite some. We have this one right here, Trucktropia, that is making kind of similar videos but about trucks. This one, if you remember, was about planes. And we have one without trucks. Then we have this one about railroads. Actually, no, they're about all sorts of things, but they just started and they're doing pretty well for about a month in. Overscale, this is also what it looks to be a successful channel. Yes, there we go, 9 videos, and they're making over $2,500, and they're doing explainer videos, which are very trending right now. But when I'm doing this research, guys, when I'm looking through all of those channels, I'm not just looking for what I like, right? I don't just want to be like, okay, I like this one, so I'm gonna start this one. I have very specific criteria that I'm gonna share with you guys. So here's the couple of things that you gotta look for. Number one, I like to look for channels that have less than 150,000 subscribers, right? This one right here has 5,000. This one has 300. This one has 150,000, so it's right there. But the reason why I like to look for this is because if they're very big, they don't have a lot of similarities with my brand new channel. So I like to keep them small. Number two, I want those channels to have started less than 2 years ago, right? If they started 40 years ago or 5 years ago, things were different. Maybe most of their growth was back then, and I'm starting now 40 years after. Again, there's not a lot of reference. There's not a lot of things that we have in common, so I can learn from them, right? Not that much. That was number two. Number three, we obviously want these channels to be faceless. Number four, we also want them to be active, right? At least one video, maybe 2 videos a week, is we're gonna model after that. And number five, and probably most important, what is very important, guys, when you look at these channels and you start a niche, you make sure that the channel that you want to start or the channel that you use as inspiration makes a similar amount of money to the one that you want to make. So for example, this one right here, Overscaled, they made $2,500. If I want to make $10,000 per month, this is not a very good indicator. This is not a very good example. It's like, oh, I'm gonna start this channel, I'm gonna make 10,000, which is 4 times the money. Ideally, you want to find a channel that makes a similar amount. This one only makes 1,000, right? So you gotta find channels that are making a similar amount of money to the ones that you want to make. Now, if you want to start in the trending niche, you would do the same stuff. You would come to Culture Covered or a similar channel, you would run a quick or an in-depth search, and you would be looking at a couple of these channels right here: Industry Secrets, The Urban Noir, Binge Central, Culture Insider. You will see that there's a bunch of them. Idol, Culture. There are a lot of celebrity channels, and what is very important, no matter which you choose, guys, you can see this looks very successful. 3,800, not too shabby. The Urban Noir, 1,600. Binge Central, let's see this one, only 1,000. But what is very important, guys, for you when you're gonna start any of these channels and you're gonna be faced with competition, more or less, right? Many or just a few channels, it's very important that you sub niche, right? You don't just start a celebrity channel, or you don't just start an airplay channel. So about 2 years ago, I wanted to make a case study that is alive on this channel. You guys can watch it after this video. And I wanted to document starting and scaling a Faceless YouTube automation channel from zero to $5,000 per month live, and document everything. Nobody has ever done this before. And as far as I'm concerned, nobody has still done it to this day, apart from us, of course. So that video is on the channel. You can watch it later. But I was doing research and I was thinking, okay, what niche am I going to start in? And I found a channel similar to this one. There were a bunch of them really, but this one right here, Recollection Road, I think paints a very good picture. If you see this channel, it's about forgotten memories, moments, and nostalgia, right? We're going to call this the vintage nostalgia niche. And as you can see, some of their most popular videos are things like 13 things from the 1970s kids today will never understand, the 1950s color, life in America, car features. If you grew up in the 70s, you remember these. Very interesting topics, right? So I found this channel and I really liked it. Obviously, I have not grown up in the 60s or the 70s, but I was like, this content is pretty interesting. I would watch it. So maybe I could start a channel like this as well. But what I did next was sub-niche and not just copy what they were doing. So instead of doing everything and covering everything about nostalgia, I decided to start a vintage cars channel. I named it Vintage Vehicles. It's this one right here. If you guys have been on my channel before, we have a bunch of videos you can watch later on breaking down, and we're sharing everything behind the scenes. But as you can see, compared to them where they're talking about a bunch of things, I started talking about quickest 4 muscle cars in company history, right? Forgotten muscle cars, luxury cars, pickup trucks. I was trying to niche down on cars and vintage vehicles only. And to be honest with you, my first idea was like, it's gonna be a muscle car channel. But after the huge success, right, quotation marks, that I had with the first 2 videos, which barely got any views, I got lucky and I had a lucky break with this video right here, 20 rarest American pickup trucks of all time. And so from there, I found this one video and then I doubled down, I I made more videos and more videos, and the channel became a pickup truck channel eventually, and we kept adding and adding to it classic car features. We started then making videos about car collections of famous people. We started making videos about motorcycles, long haul trucks, you name it, right? So we carved our own pool, we sub-niche, and instead of competing with Recollection Road and everybody who was in the vintage nostalgia niche, so to say, which again, there were a lot of competitors and there still are right now, we found our own little small sub-niche, and this is exactly what I recommend you guys do as well, right? Do not try to compete. Peter Thiel has a really nice quote in one of his books, 0 to 1. All happy companies have no competition, right? Let me say that again. All happy companies have no competition, and the same applies to faceless YouTube automation channels. You don't want to be a replica of another channel. You don't be like, oh, I'm just like this channel but better, or like I'm just this channel but slightly different. You want to carve out your own angle, your own sub niche, and this is how you're going to make a bunch more money as well. And speaking of money, I can show you guys right here, vintage vehicles made over $130,000, and the bulk of it was in the first year when I was running it full time, right? And we even have some crazy outliers. If we go here and we filter by views, you can see that my most popular video on the channel that currently sits at 1.4 million views. Can you guess how much money this video made? There we go, 1.5 million views. This one video alone, guys, made $19,384.09. $19,000 from one single video that cost me less than $100 to produce. Chapter 2, building the team. And if you guys are wondering, what do I mean by produce? Well, let me explain how this business model works, right? So you see, I'm not the creator. I did not make any of those videos myself. If we play the videos, it's not my voice, it's not my face. I'm just the channel owner and the strategist behind the scenes, right? This is exactly where the term of YouTube automation comes from, especially now with AI. I think it's gotten even a little bit better, but traditionally, how you run a channel is you hire and you outsource the work to freelancers online, right? You need a scriptwriter, a voice actor, a video editor, and a thumbnail designer who are going to be making the videos for you. And when you put all of those pieces together, it costs me less than $100 per video to produce it. Now, as I mentioned with AI, you can get it even cheaper. But what I want you guys to remember at this point is that you shouldn't be doing this alone. Obviously, if the budget is a constraint and you feel like you have the time, you can absolutely do it. But most of my clients are busy professionals, are working jobs, and I just want to build a second income stream on the side, a powerful income to maybe replace their main income one day, or just to supplement it so they do not have a couple hours a day to work on videos. So instead, we are running YouTube automation channels where you can just pay someone else to produce those for you, and you get to collect the checks. And some of these channels, guys, most of us, I would say, are running them at 80, 90, sometimes even 95% profit margins, because while there is a cap on how much a video costs, right? Once you have the team and once you agree with them on it, that is it. That is the cost of a video with some bonuses and whatnot. But there is no ceiling on how much a video can generate, right? This video generated $19,000, and I would have never thought that that was possible. And to give you guys a clear picture on what it takes to run a faceless YouTube automation channel like this one, and hopefully be successful with it as well, I think I was spending anywhere from 5 to 10 hours per week on the channel, right? And remember, I wasn't doing any of the work. This time was mostly went into communicating with the team, right? I was the operator, I was managing the team, and I was making sure everything was happening. And more importantly, I was coming up with the video ideas. I was deciding, since it was my channel and I was the one making the money. So 20 car innovations that did not stand the test of time, or Jay Leno's bike collection, the most expensive motorcycle in the world. All of this video, I decided and I came up with the topics, and then I just had the team take care of them and I was managing them.
Real quick, if you want to start an online business to build an additional stream of income on the side of your job or your existing business, and would like to learn more about how you can do that with faceless YouTube channels, just like hundreds of my other clients have done, I have a free training linked in the description that will show you how to do just that. So if you're interested, click the link below, and if not, no issues, enjoy the free content.
So that's time-wise. But when it comes to hiring and managing the team and the cost, I would say is you need anywhere from $500 to $1,000 per month to run a channel that can go on and make you $3,000, $5,000, even $10,000 per month in return. And this range depends on a couple of things. Probably, you know, one of them, it's the niche, right, as we just chatted. Number two, how many videos you're gonna make. 5 videos, it's gonna cost you less than 15 videos. And then a big factor, a cost controlling factor, I would say recently, it's AI, right? If you choose to use AI for your voice or for your scripts, the cost is gonna go down significantly, and that's something that we're gonna talk about next. Okay, so when it comes to the team, guys, again, you're gonna need 4 roles. This doesn't mean you necessarily need 4 people, but you're gonna need 4 different roles. Number one, the scriptwriter. So this person or this AI has the responsibility of writing the script, right? What is the video gonna be about? What are gonna be the words that we are gonna follow? Number two, the voice actor or the AI voice. This is simply taking the script and reading it out loud, so we make sure that we have audio, title for our videos. Number 3, the video editor. This is very important. It has not been fully replaced by AI. Here, it's basically where you take the script, you take the audio, right? You take the voice, and then you combine it together into a video. A video editor is going to use slideshow, images, screenshots, footage, you name it, from all over the internet, copyright free, and it's going to merge those together into making the actual videos. And all the channels that I've shown you guys on my computer, they're all using a video editor, so this is crucial. And the last piece of the puzzle, number 4, the cherry on top, if you will, but also very important, even chronologically important, is the thumbnail designer. The cover image that you guys see before clicking on a video, that you saw before clicking on this video, that needs to be done as well. And it's more important than most people think. They say, okay, it's just an image, we can choose whatever, but in reality, if people don't like that image, if people don't resonate, or they're not curious because of the image, they're not going to click on your video. So then the script, the voice, and the edit, they're not going to even matter, because nobody clicked to begin with, so nobody's going to watch. So pay attention to all 4. But instead of just talking about it, let's jump on my laptop again, and I will show you guys exactly how I go about hiring for all of these roles. So the website that we use in the majority of the cases, it's called Upwork.com. We also used Fiverr back in the day, and we still do for some of our clients sometimes, but Upwork we found just to be better. So what you want to do, you want to create an account, it's completely free, and then you're going to see this. You want to post a job, right? So we are going to make an advert, we're going to make a job posting, so people are going to come to us instead of us going to them. We're going to go with a short-term project because it's less than 30 hours a week. Continue. Write a title for your job post. I've experimented with a lot of things, guys, but I like to go with something simple. Like, let's just say we're going to hire video editor for, you can either say Faceless YouTube channel, right? Just like I have right here. Or what you guys could do, if you want to make it even more specific, and if you want to attract talented people, or more say experienced people, which I think it's very important, let's just say for a celebrity YouTube channel, right? And what you're doing, just by saying, hey, we're going to look for a celebrity YouTube channel, people who have experience and people who have worked on celebrity YouTube channels before are going to be more inclined to apply. So this is one of the strategies that we teach, and I recommend you guys do as well. The job category, let's go with video editing. Next, when it comes to the skills, I pretty much just check in all of the popular ones. I don't think it's as important. This is not going to make it or break it, but let's go to scope. Here, when it comes to the scope, also, I don't think it's going to make it or break it, guys, but I like to go with the medium one since it's going to be a bunch of things that we're going to need to do. How long will your work take? I like to go with 1 to 3 months, but again, not very important. And then here, this is important. What level of experience will you need? I like to go with expert, because even the people who are not an expert, right? Even the people who are beginners are going to classify themselves as experts. So by doing the expert, you kind of cover yourself. Is this a job contract opportunity? I would say no, it's not going to become full-time. We just want to work with freelancers, so you guys don't need to worry about W-2s and taxes for employment and any of that stuff. When it comes to the budget, right? This is not necessarily what you're going to end up paying, but this is just going to be so people can make an idea, right? You can either go with the hourly rate, like we have shown right here, which is $15 to $30 per hour. Don't worry, we're not going to be paying per hour. Or what you could do, you could put a fixed price that is usually higher than you're willing to pay, so you attract more people, right? So for example, if you want to pay $50 to edit your video, you might put something like $200 or $100, so people kind of know, hey, this is a video. However, that might let people to believe that this is a one-time job and you only have one video. So I like to go with the hourly rate in most cases. And then we're going to look at the description. Now for the description, there are a couple of bullet points and a couple elements that you want to hit in here. I won't take too much time to write a full description, but here's, guys, what you need to do. So number 1, state what you're looking for. Looking for a video editor with experience. Number 2, state the level of experience you are looking for. So what do I mean by this? I like to include plus share a couple example channels, right? So what I usually like to do here is say, hey, I'm looking for people who have experience editing videos for celebrity channels, like, and then you can insert 1 or 2 links from your competitors, so people kind of know, okay, what type of editing you're doing, right? Then you also want to include how many videos per week you're looking to do, include the duration of those videos, right? So are they going to post 2 videos a week, 3 videos a week, 5 videos a week? And are they going to be 10, 20, 60 minutes? Those are very important details. And then lastly, any talent, preferences, location, language, hours, etc. Right? So you would basically use these bullet points that I've just outlined right here, guys, as kind of the skeleton, as the foundation. And you can use AI, by the way, for this. You can say, hey, this is kind of what I'm looking for, draft the description, and you can put it in here. But it's very important that you cover those main points, because then it's going to allow you to best filter the talent, right? You should not have a scarcity mindset when it comes to freelancers. There's probably hundreds of thousands of them on Upwork alone, and thousands of them that are specialized in YouTube automation and Faceless YouTube channels. So there will be a bunch of people, but you want to filter so you find the right one for you. From here, you're just going to review the job post, and you can ask a couple more questions. I won't go into everything right now, but feel free to make it as good as possible, guys. And most important, it's free. I don't recommend you upgrade. You can get very good quality quality talent without even paying for it. And then you just want to make sure from here that your job post goes live. Now, there's one more thing that I want to cover, guys, and I think it's important. So earlier, you heard me talking about I paid about $100 per video or less than $100. Well, let me give you the breakdown of how the $100 was distributed between the 4 roles, because I wasn't using any AI when I started Vintage Vehicles. So I was paying basically 4 different people with the $100. So here's how the breakdown goes. And by the way, this is for a 15-minute video, so to say. So if you want to make 30-minute videos and they're documentaries, heavily animated, that might be higher. Or if you're making 10-minute simple videos, that might be lower, right? But on average, for your scriptwriter, you're going to be looking at paying anywhere from $20 to $30, right? So just to do the script. For the voice, I've seen this be anywhere from $10 to $20. Video editing, this is usually a little bit more on the expensive side, so you can pay anywhere from, let's just say, $25 to $50. And then for the thumbnail design, this can range a lot, but it starts at $5 and I would go as high as $15, right? So those are going to be the breakdowns. Those are going to be the ranges. You want to negotiate, by the way. A very important rule and the golden rule that I teach all the clients in my program is that you don't want to say yes to the first answer, right? People are going to be quoting you much higher prices they're willing to accept. You want to have some negotiation room to get that cost down as much as possible, so your channel is going to have a high profit margin, but more importantly, so that you can run it for a long time without worrying. It's like, oh, I got to make profit tomorrow. I got to make profit tomorrow, right? So there you go. That's the breakdown of how to pay freelancers. And now let's say you've hired a team, but how do you go about managing them? How do you go from a team of freelancers to making actual videos? Well, the first thing, it's communication. And here there's a bunch of ways to go about it, but I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Use a WhatsApp group chat. So whether you're hiring people from Upwork or Fiverr or People Per Hour, just hiring people that you know, right? Friends of yours, you just want to make sure you have one group chat, one WhatsApp group chat with everybody, and all of the communication is going to happen in there. Hey, the script is done, the voice is done, I'm starting the edit is ready, the revisions are done. All these updates, basically, you just want to have them in one place so you're not running around chasing the deliverables from one freelancer, sending them to the other. This was one of the mistakes that I used to make in the very first days when I started my first channel, and it was a nightmare, guys. Like, I was having to talk with 4 people in a bunch of different time zones. They were not reply. I would have to chase them, I have to pay them when like, no, you're just gonna have one WhatsApp group chat, put everybody in there, and trust me, it will be fine. Next, I want to give you guys a glimpse into the project management system that we have inside my program. So we use Trello, and this is basically where all the videos are getting managed, because the WhatsApp group chat is good for communication, but you don't want to review the scripts and you want to pass the files and they're not going to be able to share them, etc. Instead, you want to use Trello. It's absolutely free. We've been using it for more than 5 years now, and there's no affiliate links in this video, guys, so I'm not paid to promote them, but they are actually the best that we've tried and the simplest to use, especially for beginners, right? And here's basically how I usually set up my boards. Let's just say I want to start a gardening channel, right? We talked about a bunch of different channels. I want to give you guys as many examples as possible, but let's just say this is a gardening channel, and I have my video ideas right here, which is going to be one of the next chapters, so make sure you watch until the end. But we have a card where we are going to list the video ideas, and then I treat everything as a pipeline, right? From the video idea, we're going to go to need script, right? So let's just say this video is ready, and here the scriptwriter is going to start working on them. As soon as they're done and I review them, they're going to get moved over to voiceover, editing, and then once the whole video is ready and I'm happy with the final product, they're going to be moved in this column, from where I will just take them, upload them to YouTube, and then they go straight into the archive, right? It's very, very simple, and we've made, guys, millions of dollars. My community right now gets over 120 million views per month, and this is not shorts, this is just long form content, and making over $700,000 in AdSense revenue alone each and every single month. And we're all using this system, right? So it doesn't need to get more complicated. Trust me, simple scales, fancy fails. Quick pause here. If you're watching this and you want someone to build this with you instead of figuring it out alone, this is exactly what my program Grow Channels is for. As I mentioned, we have helped hundreds of students go through this exact process, from picking the niche to hiring the team to getting monetized. So I truly believe we can help you do the same and start your own channel and make $3,000, $5,000, or $10,000 per month. So if you are interested, there is a link in the description. Check it out. But now let's go back to the course. Chapter 3, the content system. Okay, guys, so now that we have the theme, you might be wondering, okay, but what videos are we gonna make and how do we choose those videos? Because a mistake that I see a lot of beginners make, especially early on, and I've been there and done that myself, so myself included, is that they think about what ideas they want to make, what videos do they want to make, and then they just go make those. And there's not necessarily a problem with those if you want to make videos that you're passionate about and whatever, but that is not the best way if you want to make money with those videos. And if you do want to make money with them, what you need to do instead is you need to reverse engineer the process. You first need to find the videos that are already working, that are already getting views and making money for other channels, competitors in your niche, and then you got to make those with a twist, right? But again, I can talk about this for hours and hours. Let's just jump on my computer and I can show you guys what I mean in many different niches. Okay, so I prepared 3 different channels in 3 different niches that I'm going to show you guys. But what I want you to know before we go and look at any of these channels is the concept that we're going to be using. And I call this the outlier video, right? You see, all of those videos are going to be posting videos, right? 2 a week, 3 a week, 4 a week. What we're going to be looking for in the videos that we want to make, the videos that we want to take ideas and inspiration from and do for ourselves are what I call the outliers, right? And everybody calls them this. They are basically those videos that performed much better than the average. So if a channel is getting consistently 2,000 to 3,000 views per video, but all of a sudden one of them gets 100,000 views, that is the video that we want to pay attention to. And they're easier to spot than you would think, especially if you use some of these extensions like vidIQ, NextDev. There's a bunch of them. Just feel free to choose your own. Let's look at this for channel right here. It's called SUV Zone, 333 videos, 100,000 subscribers talking about SUVs. If we look at their videos, you will see that they're getting 1,000 views, 4,000, 11,000, 3,000, 37,000, 27,000, all over the place, right? But eventually, if we scroll down, we will see that 4 weeks ago, they have one that has 82,000, right? Which is much better than the average. So this video right here, it's worth noting. If we scroll down, then you will see 10,000, 3,000, 4,000, 15,000, right around there. But if we scroll and scroll, we'll see another one with 86,000, right? This is the one that we pay attention to, 70,000, 71,000. This is the one that we want to pay attention, 80,000 again. And some of them, even if we filter by most popular that were posted a year ago, you might be able to find 2.6 million views, 1 million views. Basically, the bigger the outlier, the more views it has, the better, right? But let me show you this on an F1 channel, right? Maybe you are passionate about F1. This is more of a news one, I would say. And 8,000 views, 33,000 views, 6,000, 7,000. This one is getting, you can see the floor for views, it's around 5,000 on average. So this one right here with 33,000 in just 4 days might be worth looking at. 35,000 in 3 weeks, 59,000. So there you have it, right? I hope by now you understood the concept. I'm just going to show you guys one more channel. It's called Dividendology. It's about stocks and dividends if you are interested in that. The floor here, we can see it's even higher. They're getting, I would say, about 10,000 views on average. So 23,000 views, 34,000 views might not feel as impressive, but 91,000 definitely does. If we keep scrolling and scrolling, 50,000, not the best. 96,000, there we go right here. Some even bigger channels. But this is basically the process, guys. You got to identify your competitor channels. You got to identify what is their view floor. How many views do they get on average? And again, this is very easy. You can get these multipliers here from these Chrome extensions. And then you got to pay attention and you're going to replicate the videos that have a 3, 5, maybe even 10 times more than the view floor. So that's it. Basically, that's how the outlier method works. Now, once you have the video ideas, by now you already have the niche, so you know what you're going to make videos about. You already have the competitor, so you know who else is making videos in the space, and you have the team ready to execute. But before we talk about, okay, getting the actual videos done and maybe sprinkling in some AI, there's one more part of the process that I think is very important, guys, and that is the packaging, right? More specifically, the title and the thumbnail. And a mistake that I see a lot of people make is they just simply copy, right? And let me show you the best example right here. So I'm just going to go back to my channel that I documented because you guys can go and watch all the stats, all the analytics, and you can learn more about everything that I've done. But one of the most popular videos, as you can see, is this one right here, 10 rarest cars in Clint Eastwood's insane car collection, right? I found this, I don't remember exactly where, but I definitely adapted it. What you don't want to do is what a bunch of people have done. So if I just go on YouTube and I search it, you will see that there's a bunch of people who have either copied my title or my thumbnail, and it didn't work. Look at this one, 10 rarest cars in Clint Eastwood's insane car collection, basically same video, just made it longer with a different thumbnail. It didn't work. It only got 900 views. This one right here, 10 rarest cars in Clint Eastwood car collection. So they removed the insane, and you can see they pretty much made a cheap replica of my thumbnail, I would say. It kind of looks like it's made in China. I mean, it's offshore, but it got 8,000 views. Now, for a channel with 300 subscribers, that is not too shabby, but I got 800,000 views, right? I made so much more money. I got 100 times more because I was the first one and not just the copy. And the list can go on and on, right? So you don't want to copy, you just want to add with a twist. And let me show you an example of how to actually do that, right? Let's just take this channel right here, 10 rarest card in Clint Eastwood car collection. If you see this video, if you spot this video as an outlier, what you want to do, you can change two things. You can either change the person, just like I've done. So instead of Clint Eastwood, I've made a video with James May car collection, 400,000 views. Jay Leno's bike collection, 1 million views. I've made others as well. Some worked as good, some didn't work as good. Inside Elvis Presley's car collection, right? Paul Newman's. So you can just change the person, or in this case, I can change the collection. So instead of a car collection, I can make a bike collection like this one right here, right? But it's all about the research, and it's not about copying what everybody else has done. It's taking the idea and the format and doing it with a twist. Okay, guys, we're about halfway through now. If you're sitting there thinking this is the model that you want to build, but you want someone who has already been there and done that to walk you through it. This is what a call with my team is for. There's a link in the description. We will look at your situation, your niche ideas, your budget, and tell you exactly what to do first. And now let's go back to the video, because the analytics section is where most people see their biggest mistakes. Chapter 4, analytics. So there are two important metrics that you guys want to know when it comes to the analytics of a faceless YouTube automation channel. Number one, CTR, which is click-through rate, and number two, average view duration, which is AVD, right? So the way I think about those, or the way they're easiest to explain, guys, CTR is basically what percentage of people that see your videos are clicking on them. And let me just kind of put it here by a fireside chat, because I want you really to understand this and drive it home. So CTR, YouTube is going to show your videos to 100 people. CTR just measures what percentage of those are going to be clicking on it. It depends which niche you're in and who's the audience. For example, for my vintage vehicles, if I remember, we were always around 4, but I'll show you that in a second. I would say anywhere from 3 to 4 on the low end to 7 and 8 on the high end is basically where you're going to be, right? What is very important here is that ideally you have a group or you have a coach who's going to tell you, is like, hey, I'm in sports, is 3 good or should I aim for 8? Or like, I'm in finance, should I be at 5 or should I be at 7, right? Because all these numbers only make sense by comparison. If I tell you my CTR is 4, if you are in a celebrity niche, that is going to be very low. But if you are in a vintage niche, that is probably going to be on the high end, right? So this all depends, but you got to track the number. So that is going to be one of the most important. And number two, average duration. This represents for how long are people watching your videos. Also, what you got to keep in mind, how long are the videos? For a 10-minute video, if you can get 3 to 3 minutes and a half, 4 minutes, that is going to be perfect. Most of you are probably going to be in the 2 to 3 range and try to push it up. The easiest way I've seen, and I'm going to let you guys in on a secret here, the easiest way I've seen is to increase average duration, is to increase the duration of the video. So we've seen that going from 10 to 15 minutes drastically increases the average duration, and even more from 15 to 20 minutes, we've been able to unlock that 4, 5, 6, sometimes even 7 minutes of average view duration. And remember, the higher the stats, right? So the higher the CTR and the higher the average view duration that you have, the more the algorithm is going to push your videos to more and more people. So the more views and the more money you are going to make. But now let me grab my laptop over here, guys, and I can show you inside vintage vehicles, inside a studio, what are some of the stats behind some of the most popular videos that I've made. But again, you got to remember, this is niche dependent. So if you are in a vintage and nostalgia niche, this data is applicable to you. If you are in a sports niche and your audience is 20 years old, this is probably not going to be the best, right? So for the most popular video that we have right here, if we go to reach, you will see that my CTR for this one was 3.6, right? You can see it was pretty low for the longest time, around 2 to 3, whatever. Recently, we can see much higher. I'm not sure what's up with those spikes right here. It's probably because it hasn't gotten as many impressions. Since uploaded, basically, it's 3.6, which is kind of the range that I was telling you about, just hovering over. And if we go about the average duration, you guys can see this is 8 minutes 28. This is insane. For 20-minute videos, 8 minutes is probably the highest I've ever seen. No wonder this video got 1.5 million views. But let's take another one. Let's take the one that we talked about earlier, 10 rarest cars in Clint Eastwood's car collection. This is only a 17-minute video, so slightly shorter. And when it comes to click-through rate, this is much higher. 3.6 versus 4.5. This is like almost a 33% increase right in the delta. So this is a much better thumbnail, a much better packaging. 4.5 CTR in this niche is pretty shabby, and you can see for the longest time ever, it was always about 4, sometimes even 5. And when it comes to the engagement, this only has 5 minutes of average duration, right? And as a result, it only got 800,000 views, so about half. You can see how the difference, even with a higher CTR, but a much lower average duration, the video got less views. Now, there's a bunch of factors that go into this. There's the idea, how much is the appeal. Let's just take another example that maybe doesn't have as many views. This one right here, that only has 100,000 views, and see the stats behind this. This one is 13 most hated American pickup trucks in US history, about 18 minutes, and it has a 4.3 CTR. You can see the graph looks very different. We have some days with 0, which is weird. But anyway, in that ballpark, right, 3.6 to 4.5. And then the engagement was 5 minutes 44. This one has just slightly lower CTR, but it has a higher average duration than the Clint Eastwood one. But because the topic and the idea was not as good, it didn't get nearly as many views, right? 800,000 versus 100,000. So I hope this makes sense, guys, and you now have a better picture of how to look at those analytics yourself. And now to make this applicable, guys, I want to give you one tip for each and how to fix them. So if your CTR is low, most of the times it's a packaging issue, right? The ideas, let's assume they're good, right? Let's assume you're doing the research and you're finding the outliers, you're modeling your competitors correctly, not copying, because copying is going to kill your stats. But if you do that correctly, what I would recommend you look into, it's the thumbnails, right? Look at your packaging. If you're making the thumbnails yourself, you need to up your skill. Or if you have a thumbnail designer, I would just get another one, right? Make sure you get someone that has experience and knows what they're doing. And this is going to be an easy fix. This is what we do for most of my clients. I know it's simple and I know it sounds easy, but this is literally the solution that we get. get, then finding that person, it's not as easy because you got to remember, you got to search for them, you got to make the job post, you got to look at them. So there you go, there you have it. Now, if your average view duration, right, if people don't watch your videos for as long, so if your AVD is low, a lot of people might think it's like, oh, I need to improve my editing, I need to get my new editor or my editing to be better, but it's not true. In reality, most of the average view duration issues are traced back to the script, right? The script, the words, the foundation is not as good. So then again, if you're writing the script yourself with AI, which we cover in other videos, I would recommend that you kind of up level your skill and you spend some more time doing research, you spend some more time on the structure because the scripts need to be better. And specifically, look at the first 30 seconds, look at the hook. You want that to be over 55, 60, 70%. If you don't have that, that's your issue right there. And if you have a scriptwriter, once again, I don't believe in training people, right? We're not in the business of training people. We're in the business of finding the best people and getting them to work for us. So I would just recommend you look for another scriptwriter, or maybe you try your shot at writing the script yourself with AI. We're going to have a separate tutorial for that alone. So there you have it, guys. This is what to do basically with your analytics and how to look at them. Chapter 5, monetization. Now let's talk about probably the most exciting part of this entire video and tutorial, guys, and that is monetization, right? There are many ways you can monetize Faceless YouTube automation channels. You can do AdSense revenue, which is the most popular, the biggest one that we're going to be talking about today. But then you also have affiliate marketing, where you promote somebody else's products and you get a commission. You have brand deals when you promote different brands, companies, software, and you get paid a lump sum of money for a video integration or a dedicated video. And then you also have digital products. Some of my clients have recently started branching into digital products where you can sell ebooks, PDFs, or even e-commerce stuff, right, with those channels. But those are a little bit more advanced. I want to focus on and I want to zone in on the AdSense revenue because I would say this is where 80 to 90% of you guys are going to be starting out. And this is where those $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 months initially are going to come from. So let's start with the criteria. To be part of the YouTube Partner Program and to make money from AdSense revenue, you need two things. Number one, you need 1,000 subscribers. And number two, you need 4,000 watch hours in the last 12 months. So you will see why average duration is important. Now, if you're a complete beginner and that sounds like kind of a high number, don't worry about it. I would say that most of my clients are able to do that in 2 to 3 months following a very proven blueprint. If you don't have the blueprint, it might take you 4, 6, maybe 8 months, which I think it's quite long, but some people have done it even without help much faster, right? So on average, you're looking at a couple of weeks to a couple of months. The good news here is, guys, it took me 107 videos before I started making real money 5 years ago when I started my first channel. I see people right now getting monetized in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, sometimes even a couple of days or just one video, and are starting to make money. So it's much easier. The information is much more accessible and the whole system is much simpler today than it was 5 years ago. So we're definitely going towards a faster and easier success. Now, once you meet that criteria and you are in the YouTube Partner Program, everything is pretty much taken care of, right? You don't need to pay for ads. You don't need to get your own clients or anything like that, negotiate your own rates. YouTube is going to do all of that for you, and you're going to get paid something that is called an RPM, which is revenue per meal, right? This goes back to our niche conversation where multiple niches have different RPMs, right? If you are in a sports niche, you might be looking at getting paid $3 to $5 per 1,000 views. But on the other side, if you're in a finance niche, you might get $10, $15, sometimes even $20 for the same 1,000 views. There's a quick caveat here. Arguably, getting 1,000 views in finance is harder than getting 1,000 views in sports, but this is why it's important that you spend a lot of time choosing a niche and you weigh all of those pros and cons. You guys probably know by now that I love transparency and I want to share as much as I can with you guys. So let's take a look at a couple videos on vintage vehicles and you can see how many views they got and what was the RPM. So the most popular one had the $13 RPM, right? Vintage cars, not finance, just vintage cars, and we got paid $13.05 for every 1,000 views. But as you can see, every video has a different RPM, even on a channel, right? And your channel's RPM is just a collection and a math formula, a combination between all of those, right? The second video that made the most money, you will see it's not the second video by views, right? So views don't always equal to more money. This one only got 477,000 views, but it made me $8,400 because it had a $17.64 RPM. This one, on the contrary, this got 1 million views, but only made just shy of $7,000 because, as you can see, the RPM was only $6.56. So you can see that on a video by video basis inside the same channel, I have some videos that have a $5 RPM like this one right here. And I think the highest one, I'm not sure if I can filter this. Unfortunately, I cannot. This one right here, look, $29. With just 200,000 views, I was able to make over $5,800 because the RPM was 29, right? So you can see how topic selection and niche selection and everything that goes into it, guys, can affect those stats. And guys, one more thing that I want to share here with the RPM, I personally don't pay much attention to it, right? As soon as I have chosen my niche, I know that there are people out there making money. I'm not going to stress over RPM because it can lead you to make bad decisions. For example, you might see a video that that only gets, let's just say 5,000 views, and you say, oh my God, this is such a bad video, it's not gonna make a bunch of money, but then the RPM could be very high and you make a bunch of money. Or if you obsess over the RPM, you go with a video, you see it has 1,000 views, oh my God, the RPM is $29, this one is gonna go crazy, and it only gets 1,100 views, right? So it's kind of an extra metric that I would not pay attention to. I would just focus your effort on making sure, obviously you're in a good niche, but that's a one-time decision, that you have a good team, and you can always rotate, and you can always make better content and have better team. And number three, I'll make sure that you always, the most important thing is that you have better video ideas, right? Always put time and effort into video ideas. And the Pareto principle applies, guys, right? The 80-20 rule. Only 20% of your ideas are gonna drive 80% of your revenue and of your money, which means, right, if you look at it from another lens, it's like 8 out of 10 videos are gonna flop. You're not gonna make money and they're not gonna work. That will discourage a lot of people. That would make a lot of people like, okay, this doesn't work, Especially in the beginning, it might be your first 18, 20, 38 videos, but it's that 20% that you just gotta find. You gotta stay consistent and in the game long enough to go and make enough money. And it was the same for me. Let's just look at the stats in here and I can show you guys. With vintage vehicles, we started in February and we were not monetized, but then in March we got monetized. So I did it in about 45 days. It took me 45 days to get accepted into the YouTube partner program, which I told you guys about. And then in April we started making serious money, $1,200. I was already profitable by now, so I was making more money than I was investing into the channel. And when that happens, I personally like to go hard. I like to go all in and reinvest everything as hard as I can to make more money. And that's exactly what I did. I went from April $1,200 to May $2,600 and June $5,800. I would say that this first kind of phase of growth was mostly led to just me posting more. I found a couple ideas, I found a couple formats that were working, and I said, okay, I'm just gonna do more of this now. And just by sheer volume, we were able to get more winners. And that took the channel to about $5,000, which was my initial goal. I was like, great, we've done it in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, kind of 4 or 5 months, $0 to $5,000. I would say done. The case study is ready. But as I mentioned in the beginning, there is no ceiling to this business model. So the channel kept going. From 5,800 in June, we went to 8,500 in July, which was now putting us over $100,000 a year, which was amazing. And then from there, we went to 9,300 in August, $15,600 in September. This was the biggest jump I would say that we had, from 9,000 to 15,000, a 50% delta increase. This was massive, and it all goes back to video ideas. I just found more better video ideas and I really hit it hard. And then even after that, from 15,000, we made 17,200 in October. That was the peak. After that, we made 16,000, and in December, we probably didn't post as much, and with the holiday season, we only ended the year at $8,000. But all in all, guys, in less than 12 months, in the first calendar year of running the channel, we made over $85,000. And now I want to share the lessons and what I've learned with you guys from making this amount of money and running this channel, and everything that I've learned in the last 5 to 6 years that I've been doing this business model. Chapter 6, the real lessons. Actually, you know what, guys, let's do this. I see a lot of people making mistake videos and this and that, and I even have a couple general mistake videos on the channel. So if you want just general mistakes with this business model, you can go and watch that video. But with this one, I'm just gonna share mistakes that I made early on, especially in regards to vintage vehicles. And the first one is not pushing as hard as I could have. So in the beginning, I started a case study, but I was traveling a little bit and I didn't pay as much attention as I could, even though I saw traction. So even though the channel was showing positive signs, I didn't go all in. I didn't go at 100% speed. And I think I would have been able to do the money and the result even faster had I done it, right? So on the come up, in the early stages, as soon as you guys see success, you want to go as hard as you can, because when you find something that works, you want to double down and reap the rewards as much as possible. Obviously, it's a great success and it's a great case study. I think it could have been even better had I been more serious and more determined to make it work. So you might want to do that. Another lesson and mistake that I made early on was about the team, and I was kind of trying to be cheap. My cost was, I think, about $100 if I remember correctly. It depends on a little bit on the duration of the video. So if the video was 30 minutes, I think it was 120. If the video was 20 minutes, it was 100. It was something in that range. And I was paying my thumbnail designer $20 per thumbnail. In the beginning, that worked because I was like, I can definitely sustain this. It wasn't a money issue and I just wanted the speed. I wanted to go. The guy was great. But then eventually, I think he asked me for a raise or something like this, and I was already kind of paying above my pay grade, above what I would usually pay. So I said, no, I'm not going to pay. I'm just going to go find someone who can do it cheaper. And I found someone who was doing it for $10, so 50% the cost. But guess what? That guy didn't work. Those thumbnails were really bad, and I lost about a week or two figuring this out, saying, okay, this is not really going to work. And then in the end, I just went back to my first guy, say, hey, you can have your raise, come back to the thumbnail. So when something works, when you get great people on the team, even if you have to pay them a little bit more, pay the price, you are going to get the result, and you're not going to have to worry with all the hassle and back and forth like I did. And you guys will see I go a little bit all over the place with the lessons, but another one that I remember, and it's actually a mistake that I kind of avoided and a bullet that I dodged early on, one was that I called the channels Vintage Vehicles, right? Even though I knew I wanted to make content about muscle cars, right? My first videos were about muscle cars. I said, okay, I'm gonna have a muscle car channel, it's gonna be great. But the first muscle car videos flopped. So had I called it Vintage Muscle Cars, I couldn't really have tested pickup trucks, which ended up working. But because I named it broad, I kind of allowed it to be wide and kind of capture more videos under the umbrella of the channel. This allowed me to test different videos about car collections, about motorcycles, about this and that. And that's actually what led to the channel making most money, right? So even though the riches are in the sub niches and you want to have a specific channel, give yourself room with the naming, give yourself room with the branding, and don't just say 70s muscle cars one-on-one, because if 70s muscle cars don't work, you're going to be in trouble and you're going to need to change the whole branding and go through that all over again. Keep it broad and you're going to save yourself some headache later down the road. Now, those are kind of the nitty-gritty mistakes that I can remember, but on the flip side, I also want to share with you guys some very specific things that I think I did that allowed the channel to be very successful. Number one, as soon as I saw signs of success, I eliminated all the distractions and I allocated not only more bandwidth with this, but also more money with this. So I think at the beginning we were posting about 2 to 3 videos per week. I think we started with 3 and then we kind of went with 4. Most people have said, well, this is great, it fits my budget. I was willing to take a slight risk. I was willing to reinvest all the money, and if you needed even a little bit more, to accelerate the channel and to help it grow faster, right? And if you're familiar with startups, you guys know that in the beginning it's all about market share, and a lot of companies that want to grow will spend more money than they're making, right? Because they believe that eventually they'll have so much market share that they'll make so much profits. Jeff Bezos just executed this perfectly at Amazon, where they were losing money and losing money and losing money for a bunch of years until eventually they said, okay, now we have a pretty significant chunk of the market share, we can start taking some profits. And I think I did that with Vintage Vehicles. I wasn't so focused on like, oh, let me take $500 now or let me take $1,000 now. I was like, no, I want to take $15,000. I want to take $10,000. So let me reinvest early on. And that really helped the channel. And another thing that I understood early on, guys, was the right thing to focus on. And obviously this comes from experience. I've been doing this for 5-6 years now. I've helped over 4,000 people do the same. I've seen thousands of channels and we've made tens of millions of dollars for our clients with this business model. I really know what to focus on and what not to focus on. And specifically, I wasn't so obsessed with the video quality or even with video accuracy. For example, if there was a mistake about this cylinder or this number for this specific car or this specific year or this specific model, I would not stop the production and wait a week to make it better, because I know in the grand scheme of things, as long as the idea is good, the video is good, and we post enough volume, it's gonna work. People are gonna see those, they are gonna comment, and are gonna correct us, but making errors is human, and me spending the time to go above and beyond and make sure it's 100% accurate, as someone who doesn't know anything about muscle cars, so this was not my life's passion or anything like that, was just not worth the detour. I just focused on the fundamentals, right? I knew I was in a good niche. I knew how to make good enough videos, 9 out of 10 videos. So I just focused on volume and making sure the ideas were good and not go so obsessive, right? Not micromanage the tiniest little details, which I see a lot of people make, right? So it's important to know what to focus on. And really, guys, now after watching this tutorial and this full course, you really have 3 options that you can focus on yourself. Option 1, you can close this video, go back to your life, and nothing changes. I don't recommend you do that. Option 2, you take everything that I've shared and everything that you've learned from this full free course and you try to do this yourself. And I think some of you guys might succeed. It might take you longer, you might make more mistakes, you might burn some money, you might get more frustrated along the journey, but I think some people can do it. I think it's going to be a tedious, slow process, but who knows? Maybe you can make it work. Option 3, you click the link in the description and you book a call to work with me and my team. You work with someone who's been there and done that, not just for me, but for hundreds and thousands of students that have been part of my program. Just like Brian did, for example. He was working in insurance and wanted to build a secondary stream of income. He saw a similar video like the one you're watching right now and decided to give this a shot. Just a couple months later, he started a nostalgia channel similar to the one that I've documented in this video, and he scaled it up to $14,000 per month on the side of working his full-time job. This is what happens when you simply follow a proven process and a blueprint. So if you want to be like Brian and make $14,000 per month, maybe more, maybe less, all you need to do is to click the link in the description and book a call with my team. I would be extremely excited to help you do something similar as well. And I'd love to see you on the other side. Thank you so much, guys. See you in the next one.